Welcome to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, presented by Yamaha.
Hello and welcome to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. I'm Lauren Bolander. This is Captain Rick Murphy, and tonight we had a big show on permit.
Man,
how cool.
You are not kidding, and it's really awesome to be talking about permit, as you know.
It sure is, but first we have to welcome Harry back. Harry, thanks for coming back. He's filling in for Dave back there at the Jägermeister workbench tonight.
It's great, man. We've got some really good stuff on the new products, polarizing the kit, your cell phone, the lens on your cell phone, fighting fish out of your Yeti cooler.
Oh, cool.
And a couple other things that are pretty neat. So it's going to be a great, and obviously the permit deal coming up on tag and releases. Man, it's off the charts, so I'm excited about that.
Me too. All right, glad to have
Harry
you
always
back,
brings
Harry.
something good,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
He does. He's the bomb diggity. And I got to tell you, speaking of bomb diggity, one of my favorite fish to catch in the summertime is the permit. And we actually have a bunch of photos. This is Ridge Murphy, his first permit, the Murphy household. When it's slick calm, it's hard to keep those kids not going. Colin Murphy in his first permit, we fished a wreck 25 miles out in the Gulf off of Flamingo. And then we have Cappy Whitefield, and Cappy, you know, is a big fan of the show. She was here with her family a few weeks ago. Great big fish. And then Lauren,
I brought a friend's picture tonight. This is Rafael Lima. He's from Miami, and he actually caught that 32-pounder right off the pier at Ball Harbor. Not bad.
No, I'm going to tell you, that's not the pier. He's pulling a sneaky on us. That is the south jetty of the Haulover Inlet. I can assure you of that.
All right.
I know.
I'm going to correct him, Rafa. All right, let's get this started.
The pier is in sight.
All right, then. You want to get this started?
Let's get it.
Let's do it. We're going to kick off tonight's Permit Week with Captain Mike Holliday in the East Region. Mike, you're at the tail end of the season with Permit, right?
We really are. You know, summertime, late spring and summer is a time, but that's when the fish gang up on the wrecks. And now they're sort of moving back to the beaches before they start migrating south as fall approaches. So from now until November, you'll find them around the inlets and the beachfront rock piles, as well as around the St. Lucie power plant outflow. And then in September and October, a lot of the permit catches are made by surf fishermen or pier anglers targeting pompano and whiting. They're looking to catch those fish with either sand fleas or shrimp, and the permit come along and eat them. And around the inlets, the permit will gather along the tide lines, looking to feed on crabs flowing out the inlets. And the grass mixes with the crabs. To find the grass lines, you'll find the crabs, and then you'll find the permit. And you can target them with a live crab or a live shrimp, either free-lined on a 3/0 circle hook or fished on a 3/8-ounce jig head and 30-pound fluorocarbon leader. Cast up current and ahead of the fish. Let the bait flow naturally back to it. Don't bomb the fish on the head. Average permit in my area is anywhere from 12 to 25 pounds. And just to give you an idea of our average fish, I got a photo. That's a photo of Emily Floyd. That's a big permit that she caught while fishing with her boyfriend, Captain Greg Snyder, out of Stewart, and that fish ate a live crab.
All right, let's stay inshore. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Yeah, the other big deal we got going, snook season opens Saturday. And there's going to be some huge crowds of anglers looking to catch illegal fish for the dinner table while the snook are still, concentrated in the inlets and along the beaches. As a rule, the snook will hold in those regions until the full moon, although, a portion of those fish will start moving back inshore with that new moon next Thursday. Until then, all the inlets in the region will be holding fish, as well as the Lake Worth and Juno Beach piers. Hope Sound Beach is a great place. Walton Rocks Beach is a great place. North Beach and Fort Pierce will have its fish. If you're on the water at dawn, you can throw black and gold topwater plugs or a 4-inch, bass assassin sea shad. Best action is going to come really on live bait, mullet, Spanish sardines, pilchard, sand perch, and pinfish will be the top baits. And don't overlook a chunk of ladyfish on the bottom. They'll really suck those up right now, and a lot of those fish will be slot fish. Remember, the slot's 28 to 32 inches. Average snook in my region, 4 to 12 pounds.
All right, let's go offshore, bub.
Well, we've had that steady flow of easterly winds that's been stacking up the weeds and debris, and that's picked up the dolphin fishing all week. The bite's been pretty consistent throughout the region in anywhere from 100 to 400 feet of water. The majority of fish are coming off the weeds or really any floating debris out there. A lot of the dolphin are small, but we're finally starting to see some of those 20 and 30 pounders that we get in the fall as the dolphins start heading south. The key really is to cover water, and you do that by trolling skirted lures or, bonita strips and skirts, or even troll ballyhoo. You can mix up your spread with, baits of all sizes, and make sure you have at least one or two baits in real tight to the boat right there in the prop wash. A lot of the larger dolphin have been eating baits right off the transom. And, as always, have some spinning rods ready to cast chunk baits, the schoolies. And, please keep just the dolphin you're going to eat right away. It's real easy getting those small fish to keep a bunch and get back to the dock and go, man, I don't want to clean all those fish. I got a photo. That's Melissa Proshek. That's a schoolie dolphin she picked up on a weed line in 105 feet of water off Jensen Beach last week. The other thing, the high-speed trolling for wahoo out of Palm Beach and southern Martin County has been producing some really nice fish lately, but it's not as incredible as everybody's leading it up to be. There's a lot of boats targeting wahoo right now, and only a handful of them are scoring each day. But if you get an early start, work the ledges and drops in 140 to 280 feet of water, you're basically in the game. The boats with the most success are on the water before dawn, fish until about 10 o'clock. The best bite seems to be before 8 o'clock in the morning. And, for baits, you can high-speed troll with those Yozuri sashimi bonitas or braid speedsters, or mix it up by adding a double-hook mullet or ballyhoo with an islander lure in front of it in the spread. Put them out, behind a 20 to 40-ounce trolling sinker and just cover a lot of water. The average wahoo, 20 to 40 pounds right now.
All right, Mike, as always, we got to talk about bass fishing. It's been a little cool down in the South region in the mornings. What do you got for us?
Well, you know what? I was talking to Bobby Lane, the Elite Series pro, fishes the Bassmaster Elite Series. He's out of Lakeland, Florida. He's telling me the big fish are coming out of Lake Kissimmee right now. Water levels are high on Kissimmee. That's got the water flowing and the bass chewing. Start your morning throwing white spinner baits around the outside grass of the island, then switch over to dragging a colored worm around the hydrilla that's starting to grow off the bottom of Lake Cypress right there in the middle of the day. The big numbers of big fish are coming out of North Cove for anglers flipping the hydrilla along the outside walls with a 1 to 1.5 ounce lead, really just enough lead to punch through the mats. And they're using craws, either a June bug or green pumpkin, red glitter, colored Bass Assassin 4-inch jingle bug or pure craw. That bite's lasting well into the midday heat. It's taken 30 pounds on a 5-fish limit to do well in an event on Kissimmee. So Kissimmee's got the big bass right now, guys.
All right, great job, Mike. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the Bennett Auto Supply hotspots from the East region. Captain Mike says inshore, tarpon around the inlets and the bait schools, live mullet or sardines, topwater plugs, and white dye dappers. And then offshore, muttons and mangrove snapper on the patch reefs in 20 to 40 feet of water. Sardines, pilchards, sand perch on a 4-0 circle hook is going to really catch those big snappers.
Alrighty, good start to the night. Right now, let's turn to the CCA Central East with Captain Jim Ross. Captain Jim, permit are kind of like snowbirds in reverse in your region, aren't they?
That's exactly what they are, Lauren. There's summertime visitors here in my CCA Central East region. They mainly show up during the mid to late summer months when the crabs start flowing out of the inlets on those outgoing tides. Now, we do have some of them on our nearshore reefs and wrecks at that time of the year as well, but we don't have a lot of those particular features in my region. So because of this, the permit usually move back down into the east or even into the southeast region once our crab run slows a little bit. Now, our permit prefer to eat crab, but they will take live shrimp, and on occasions, when the mood hits them right, they'll hit some other things as well. And surf anglers that are fishing the beaches can catch the small permit just like you do when you're pompano fishing during the summer and fall time periods. These fish will hit cut shrimp or sand fleas or fiddler crabs just like pompano will, and you can put those on a 2-drop or 3-drop surf rig. But our inlet fish and reef fish, they usually run 15 to 30 pounds, and those fish, are good-sized fish. They want crabs, and the littler fish will eat the smaller stuff like the pompano will. I've got one picture here of Nathan Brown. He got a really nice Central East region permit here a couple of weeks ago when fishing with Captain Glenn Austin down out of the Sebastian Inlet area. And that's an average reef-sized fish or wreck-sized fish that we would get. Now, the other species that we have offshore is the king mackerel, and they're following schools of pogies and mullet up and down the nearshore waters right now. The best areas to look right now are the troughs north of the Falls Cape, and then the area from Satellite Beach down to Sebastian Inlet. You want to slow troll with live mullet or pogies on a wire stinger rig, and you can expect a hookup of kingfish in the 25 to 40-pound class in those areas. Now, I kind of get a little diversion here. We've got Amber Haynes, a picture with her with a red snapper that she caught during the Red Snapper Open mini-season this week. Now, obviously, you guys know that we put on a red snapper carcass recovery promotion, and it was a huge success here in the Central East region. Our tournament winning fish was caught by the Cool Beans, which weighed 26.45 pounds. Our top ladies fish came aboard the Rendezvous and weighed 20.35 pounds. And our top junior angler award, which was Gunnar Bragdon, and he won aboard the short skirt with a 16.75-pound fish. He won Rick's tournament jersey that Rick donated to the tournament. And we had 59 total otoliths that were brought in on Sunday alone to Blue Points Marina. There was 60 total all of last year for the Central East region. So great job, Central East region, red snapper, recovery, carcass people. You guys did a fantastic job.
Great
the
job,
other thing
guys.
that I wanted to do was tell about the speckled trout on the inshore waters, because Captain Joe Percelli is catching 30 to 70 fish per day in the Mosquito Lagoon. He's using live pigfish right now to find these schools of fish, and he says you need to free line them on a kale hook. Once you find the schools, stop. You're going to check that whole area real thoroughly, and you're going to catch more fish. You want to look at the 2 to 5 foot depths, especially along the edges of the channel drop-offs right now, and most of those fish are running 2 to 3 pounds. The other fish that we have is snook in my region, and they continue to be really good along the beaches and around the inlets. Live pogies and mullets seem to be working best right now, especially on those incoming tides. And the area that surf anglers need to concentrate on are the rocky ridges around Melbourne through Satellite Beach, because they're holding good schools of those fish right now. Now, the jetties at Sebastian Inlet, Port Canaveral, and the bridge fender systems at New Smyrna on the north and south bridge are also holding good snook. Our average snook is running 28 to 40 inches, which is about 7 to 20 pounds right now.
All right, great job, Jim. We're going to go ahead and get to the hot spots in the Central East hotspot region. Inshore, speckled trout in the Mosquito Lagoon. Use live pigfish or shrimp near the channel edges of the drop-off. And then offshore, black sea bass are hitting squid and sardines on the bottom rigs on 65 to 130-foot structures.
Alrighty, you guys stay with us. On the other side of the break, we're going to head to the southeast with Jimbo, and Harry's going to show off a little bit from the workbench. We've got a lot more coming up for you on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by the Florida Lottery, Yeti Coolers, wildly stronger, keep ice longer, best parts, best prices, Bennett Auto Supply, Captain Harry's Fishing Supply Company, Chevy, the IGFA, conservation through education, get your hands wet, and Olukai.
You, sir, own a new Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting, full-size pickup on the road. And the best pickup coverage in America.
I never get tired of hearing that.
Nice call on the Victory Red.
Victory is mine.
The Chevy Model Year End Event. The 13s are going fast. Time to get yours. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 60 months, or current Chevy truck owners can trade up to this Chevy Silverado All-Star Edition with $1,500 option package discount for a total value of $9,000.
It's 200 streamlined horsepower of Yamaha forward thinking. The all-new F200 inline 4-stroke. Whether you're an offshore angler, pontoon cruiser, bay boater, or walleye hunter, the responsive and fuel-efficient F200 combines amazing power and versatility in one incredibly compact and lightweight package. The all-new F200. Legendary Yamaha reliability and the freedom of forward thinking.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
When the Spanish explorers discovered Isla Morada, they called it Purple Isles. Today, they'd discover such a rich palette of diversions and delicacies, they'd definitely be at a loss for words. Isla Morada in the Florida Keys.
Now it's time for the news and notes from the FWC. September 1st is License-Free Fishing Day. As always, you'll get more information at myfwc.com. Right now, it's time for Off the Deep End.
You know, Harry, over here at the Jägermeister Workbench, we talk about rigs and techniques. The theme species this week is permit. We got Aaron Adams from Bonefish Tarpon Trust to talk a little bit about a tagging program. But first off, let's talk about a general way that we would catch a fish on a flat and the rig that we would use. 7-foot spinning rod, a 4000 series reel, 12-pound mono. I double the line so that I don't have to use a leader.
Right.
And for the sake of TV, I went and used a big hook and a big split shot. Normally that's going to be a BB size split shot. And so what we're going to typically do is we're going to hook this crab. I like using a live blue crab. And we're going to stick him right here in the corner, come out the top. You want to make sure you have the barb, and then we're good to go. Now the key, Harry, as you can see here, we got him rigged, he's wiggling and doing all kinds of cool stuff. The key is on the presentation on the flats, you gotta throw it, hit him right in the face so you get that reaction bite.
Yeah.
You know, now offshore, certainly in Sarasota and all throughout the Keys, even up in Stewart, they have, you know, structure. They fish them on structure. So how would you fish them off of a reef or a wreck?
Pretty much the same deal. You can use heavier or lighter tackle. If you're fishing the wreck, sometimes some guys will go a little lighter tackle or heavier tackle. Same deal. We'll use a 1/4 ounce hooked up jig.
Right.
And we'll hook them right there in the corner there. Sometimes it's good to pre-poke your crabs to make it go through a lot easier and it doesn't dull the hook at all. And you're going to be able to pitch this out and just free line it. Just let it go back in the current. You want to be able to get over to the structure and be able to just get that crab where it's going to drift right into that pot of permit and just hang on, because they'll just take that crab and just take off running with it, and you've got him, start reeling.
And that's,
And
you know,
it's
that's
a great
really
bite.
all you got to do anywhere in Florida to catch a crab is to simply just use those rigs. Now, we have Aaron Adams from Bonefish Tarpon Trust. Let me get this crab so we don't get any bad emails back in there. And Aaron, tell us about the tagging program that Costa started a few years back.
Well, about 3 years ago, we started a 5-year program with Costa. They're fantastic conservation supporters to figure out the movement patterns of permit around the state so we can help to manage and conserve the fishery better. So I brought along a video that shows the tagging process. Any guide or angler can do it. It's easy to do, you just got to do the hard part and catch the permit. So you can see here that the tag is put in just under the dorsal fin. The tags have on them ID numbers, it has the Bonefish and Tarpon Trust internet site, website, and also phone number. You record the data. You want to measure the fish from the tip of the nose to the fork in the tail. Write that down. The tagging kits come with log books so you can record all the information. Once you've tagged the fish that are in your kit, you can either call that into us or you can enter it online. Just go to report tagging data. We also take fin clips off of the fish for a genetic analysis, working with FWC on that program to do DNA fingerprinting. So the kits come with pretty much everything included in them as well, including instructions.
All right, so when it comes to the fin clip now, we didn't show that in the video, but where would we take that fin clip from?
Back here in this soft tissue right in here, you only need a small piece.
So the scissors come with, you take a little snip there.
Right, you put it in this vial right here.
And then you mark it and send it in with the data.
With your data, right. And we match that to the tag number so we can track the fish 2 different ways.
That's fantastic. Now, how often have you had reports back of getting these permits already?
A lot of. In 3 years, we've already had almost 1,000 permit tagged in Florida, which is pretty good considering it's permit. And we've had 9 recaptures so far. We've even had 1 fish that was recaptured twice, believe it or not, in Biscayne Bay. And your very own Mike Holliday is one of the top taggers. He's tagged about 80 permits so far in the program.
Wow. So let me tell you, if we catch a permit that has a tag, are we supposed to cut the tag off?
You have 2 choices. If you have a cell phone or something to write with, you can record the tag number. It's an ID code. It's got a BTT and then 4 different numbers.
Oh, yeah, I see.
You measure the fish, let us know the date and location, and you can call us or send us an email on our website or on the tagging form. If you're not quite so confident, just clip the tag off of the fish, bring it back, and you can send it in to us or call it in. It's pretty easy.
Now, can anybody participate?
If you can catch permit, you can tag permit. So you can get a hold of us by going on our website, bonefishtarpontrust.org, and you can email us at info@bonefishtarpontrust to get a tagging kit. and we'll send one to you free of charge. It don't cost anything. You just have to be able to do it.
Aaron, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks
It's
for
so
having me.
informative. And guys, we're going to have to do better and make sure that we all get our tagging kits. I'm going to have to call you and get some myself. But you know what? Speaking of tagging, who we tagging next, Lauren?
We are going to tag off to Captain Jimbo Thomas, who's been waiting for us in the Southeast region. Jimbo, talk to us about permit.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty great.
Well, so am I. I've tagged a lot of fish, but I haven't tagged any permit because I haven't caught too many of them. I guess that's why. But, you know, when we talk about permit, we're usually referring to the permit that are found on the flats, but we do catch them offshore as well. I've caught a number of them on the Thomas Flyer out on the reef. And in the spring, around the full moons of March and April, the permit, they school up on some wrecks offshore to spawn anywhere from 50 to 150, 50 to 100 feet of water figure. And we can see them. They'll be up on the surface kind of flashing. They'll turn on their side. We see these big silver flashes. I call it mooning or flashing, whatever you want to call it. And then they're also commonly caught off the beaches and in the inlets throughout the region. But by far, most popular way to fish for those permits is on the flats. And the flats from Government Cut, South to Angel Fish Creek, they hold permit year-round. In the last week, the best permit fishing has been around the Raggett and Elliott Keys areas on the ocean side of the flat, ocean side, when the wind is light, and it looks like we're going to have light winds the next few days, so that should be perfect. Otherwise, the fish have been in the channels between the Ragged Keys and on the inside or the leeward. So if the wind's blowing, you're on the inside on the lee, and on the lower phases of the tide. So inside the Ragged Keys, basically the finger channels is what we're dealing with. And you want to look for hard bottom flats and 2 to 4 feet of water that have good moving water. Regardless of where those permit are, they will almost never pass up a small live crab. And catching a permit on the flats on the fly rod is considered one of the most difficult inshore catches. And I know Rick's familiar with that. And also keep an eye out for those permit with those tags in it because they're worth $100. Now I got a picture here. This is Tony Morera from South Carolina, and that's a permit. He caught it with Captain Joe Gonzalez, and it had already been tagged with a Costa tag. And Joe's a big tagger, I know that. And so we also, since we're already on the flats, South Biscayne Bay, looking for permit, we might as well try and take advantage of the good bone fishing that's been going on. When the wind's been light, Captain Joe Gonzalez has been finding tailing bonefish on the hard bottom flats on the outside of Elliott Key all the way south to Angelfish Creek. And then on the high tides, the fish have been right up along the shoreline. And it looks like it'll be perfect for getting out there on those outside flats this next coming few days. It's too choppy to fish the outside flats. The sheltered inside flats from Caesars Creek, south to Broad Creek have been holding schools of bonefish, and they've been mudding on the flats that have good tide flow. And then most of the fish are being caught on small live crabs. If you can find some decent-sized live shrimp, that's been working, as well as crab pattern flies. Now we're moving offshore. Dolphin fishing has been consistent all week, and catching them has been the easy part. We just have to find them. We've been finding most of the fish under terns and frigate birds that are being spotted with our binoculars, and then when we get up to where the birds are working, most of the time there's been something floating that these fish are hanging around. We found pallets, big pieces of hawser rope, and lots of pieces of bamboo this week. I don't know where all this bamboo's coming from, South America or somewhere, but it's been holding a lot of dolphin. Some nicer sized fish have also been caught trolling rig ballyhoo, small lures, and feathers in 400 to 900 feet of water. And then when we get up to those birds, we troll up to the birds. But when we get up to them, we've been casting live herring, cigar minnows, and cup bonita on our 20-pound spinners. We've had fish up to 25 pounds in the last week, but most of the fish have been good-sized schoolies. There, I got a picture. This is a 22-pound dolphin that was caught by Rick DeMakina aboard the Thomas Flyer. And the bull was with that cow, but we couldn't get him to eat. He was about 25 pounds. We threw everything in the book at him, and he wouldn't bite. So he's probably 30 pounds by now. And then also, any of the debris that we've been finding offshore in catching the dolphin has been holding wahoo. And the best way to catch these wahoos is to troll a Rapala Magnum rigged with a piece of wire leader around the floater, or troll a 3.5 thrown spoon behind a number 2 or number 3 planer. Now, the bulk of these wahoos around the floaters are small ones. We call them weehoos. but there are usually some keepers mixed in to let those little ones go so they can grow up. There's also been some nicer sized wahoos caught in the Hillsborough Inlet area in 150 to 300 feet of water. Most of these bigger fish are being caught on live goggle eyes and speedos fished under the kite. Also trolling wireline outfits or planers with feather and bait combos or drone spoons as they counter for some nice wahoos up to 50 pounds.
All right, great job, Jimbo. I'm going to go ahead and get to the sports grill hotspots from the southeast region. Captain Jimbo says inshore, double duty those live crabs on the flats of Biscayne Bay for bonefish and permit, and then offshore, head offshore in search of the birds and the floating debris for dolphin and wahoo. Have a pitch rod ready with live and cut bait.
Okay, when we return, some of your favorite parts. We're going to see what's cooking with Captain Russell in the Northeast, and we'll also check in with Captain Pat in the Panhandle. Remember to check out our website, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at Chevy FIFRTV.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Guy Harvey Clothing by AFTCO. Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin, the best lures, period. Blue Water Outriggers, everything for your outdoor adventures. Croquis, made in the USA. Drummond Community Bank. Costa, see what's out there. And Lumber Rock.
Introducing Helmmaster, Yamaha's first fully integrated digital boat control system. With Helmmaster, you can start your outboards with a swipe of a paw and control them with a single lever. Outboard trim and steering friction adjust automatically as you accelerate and decelerate. Adjust engine speed with the touch of a button. The Helmmaster joystick provides the means to navigate and dock precisely with confidence and ease. Take control of your next vessel with Helmmaster at your command.
At highway speeds, things can get pretty windy. That's why the Chevrolet Cruze Eco has active aero grille shutters that close at higher speeds to improve aerodynamics. With an EPA estimated 42 miles per gallon highway, the Chevrolet Cruze Eco offers the best highway fuel economy of any gas engine in America. Always thinking of ways to give you more while using less. That's American ingenuity to find new roads.
What is CCA? CCA has been representing recreational fishermen for over 25 years, and when your rights to fish are threatened, the CCA is there to make sure government regulators are making sound decisions. I'm a life member of CCA, and when fishery decisions are being made, the CCA in the room is fighting for our recreational rights. We need to give our kids the same opportunities to fish as we did. Do what I did. Go to ccaflorida.org and join for only $25 so you can protect your recreational angling rights.
Continuing the revolution. Faster, drier, even better built. Designed around Yamaha's latest technology outboards. Still built by the same craftsmen and anglers who launched the Bay Boat Revolution. Whether chasing world records, or time on the water with the family, or anything in between, there's a new Pathfinder model for you. Pathfinder, #1 for a reason, still.
Welcome back to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. Tonight, Bob Stokey from Marker 88 is back with a brand new recipe using lionfish this time, Rick.
That's a good lionfish, a dead one.
I'm curious about this one. Let's take a look.
Hey guys, today I have a special treat for you from Marker 88, Islamorada, Florida Keys. We're talking about lionfish, baby. We caught this today with the guys from Reef on Captain Slate's Atlantis Dive Center on their boat right out of Key Largo. And this baby, he is a huge, huge lionfish. You know the best part about eating lionfish? The best part about eating lionfish is that not only do they taste good, but it is good for the environment. So go on out there, dive up these babies, and then eat them. But what do you do with them once you get them, all right? So the spines on lionfish, the only spines that are actually venomous on the lionfish are these spines right across the top, right up here, okay? And there's 3 spines right back here by the anal glands, these spines right back here, all right? Other than that, all the rest of this, no problem. Touch it all you want, all right? So There's 2 ways to do it. One of them is you can go ahead and cut off the spines that are dangerous, okay? If you're worried about getting stuck, just get a pair of kitchen shears, go ahead and cut that right off, all right? The other way, just lay them over on his side and fillet them like normal. Whatever you feel most comfortable with, that's what you should do, all right? Today, though, we're making butter baked lionfish, all right? Another grill. We're doing the summer of grilling here on Chevy Florida Insider FishingReport.com. So I have some lionfish fillets right here. All we're gonna do now is just put some fresh vegetables on there. I have some carrot sticks. You just cut these about the same size you would for chicken wings, basically, all right? Some nice thin sliced onion. Go ahead and put that right on there. A little bit of yellow squash, and you can just pile the vegetables on, all right? Don't be afraid, all right? Some zucchini, all right? From there, we're almost done. A little bit of butter, all right? I know you said, hey, so far it's pretty healthy, but we're still gonna keep it decently healthy. A little bit of butter. We wanna season it with some salt and pepper, all right? And that's it. Now, we are just gonna fold this up nice and good, make a nice little package out of them, all right? No big deal, nothing fancy here, all right? But from there, we're gonna put them right onto the barbecue grill. Get your barbecue grill set to high, put them right on there, and look at that, the magic of television. I've got this one already done, all right? Let me open them up nice and carefully. He's a little bit warm, all right? But check this baby out. This is what he looks like when he's done. Look at that. Those carrots look so beautiful. Ah, can't wait to try this. Butter baked lionfish. Where's my little fillets right down there. Oh my goodness, so good. Wow, a great dish, pretty good for you, great for the environment. And lionfish, guys, not fishy at all. Nice white fillets, mild fish. Check this out.
There's something positive about what we can do with a lionfish.
That's right.
I love it. He
That's
always
right.
makes me so daggum hungry.
I know it. We did it so early in the show tonight. Now we have to think about that the rest of the time.
Okay, here we go.
I know, but what a better segue than cooking is there to head to Captain Russell. We are going to check in with him in the Northeast right now. Russell, you have few, if any, permit in your region, right?
No, we don't have too many permit in this region, and but I tell you what, I couldn't see what was going on in that cooking segment, but it sure sounded good.
We knew you'd like it, Russell.
All right, now, you know, here on the St. Mary's and the Mayport jetties, you know, over time and in the past, there have been very few permit called in our area, and especially on the nearshore reefs. But it's very rare, and permit are never targeted so much in our region. Now, Captain Dennis Goldstein of Hot Fun Charters down in St. Augustine, from year to year, sometimes he'll catch one or two. He's told me about that. Well, staying offshore, Rick, we definitely want to talk about our kingfish. You know, the kingfish this year has been very good because it's been so consistent. Today we had really light, calm water and conditions and everything. We had a little blow Sunday, but otherwise, Ponte Vedra and south down to Matanzas Inlet and anywhere from 25 to 40 foot of water are some of the better areas that we're catching are some really nice kingfish in. Some of the red tops, the deserts, the Captain's House, north of St. Augustine Inlet are some of the local favorites. Now, the best, of course, is the slow troll, live blue runners, pogies, or ribbon fish. And this late in the year, this late in the season, don't forget to really, this is a good tip, to keep an eye on the weather when you're offshore this late in the season. Typical size kingfish in our area, Rick, are going to run anywhere 15 to 25 pounds.
All right, let's go inshore, Russell.
Inshore, Rick, I tell you what, the flounder bite's definitely picking up, and the flounder fishing, people are catching more flounder, and that's because of the beginning of the mullet run. Now, with a little slight change that we've had in weather, we have definitely seen the small schools of mullet pick up, and they're running along the grass lines. Now, what you want to do is target these flounder along the ICW and in the creek mouths and under the docks in 5 to 12 foot of water. Now, you can catch the flounder on the ebb tide or on the flood tide as long as the current's moving. Now, what you want to use is a Carolina rig, which is a 3/8 egg sinker or a slip sinker with a swivel and 15 inches of about 20-pound test line and tied to a number 2 KO hook. Now, you do that, you'll be good. The best bait are going to be live fingerling mullet for these flounder that are going to run anywhere typical size 1 to 3 pounds. Now, staying inshore, we definitely want to talk this weekend about some redfish. We've got some good tides for fishing topwater plugs, but some of the best bet has been coming from live shrimp and mud minnows on 1/8-inch jig heads. Now, you want to locate the reds in their staging areas on the low tide. Sometimes you'll want to make long casts near the schools and just let it sit. the redfish are able to pick up the scent of your bait and eat, even if they can't see it. Also, those early morning outgoing tides this weekend that I was talking about with the topwater plugs and spinner baits as the reds are coming out of the grass. The typical size redfish are running anywhere from 3 to 6 pounds, Rick.
All right, Russell, I got a question for you before you go. You know, one of your favorite things to do is to guide for fly fishing for redfish back in the marsh. What time of year, obviously it's coming up, but what do you specifically look for, and what time of year is best? What moon phase? Tell me.
Rick, I tell you, our flood tides are happening right now. Now, personally, I'm not doing as much fly fishing on those flood tides as I used to. What we're doing with our bay boat, and we're doing a lot more offshore fishing, especially to go target bonita. We're also targeting Spanish, a lot of striking fish, you know, that we can throw a fly in the spring to April. But the flood tides, definitely during the full moon phases, are your best times of the year is September and October. During this mullet run, you know, this is the best time to fish those, what we call the spring tides, even though...
Uh-oh. Spring tides.
Hey, here we go.
Oh, I thought I lost you on the cheese grits, bub. All right, let's say goodbye.
I don't know how much you missed, but somebody's trying to call me. Sorry.
All right, go ahead and take your call. I'm going to go ahead and get to the strike zone hotspots. Everybody's got a job to do. And let's see what Captain Russell says inshore. Don't miss the redfish and the trout bite at first light Saturday and Sunday morning after the flood tide along the ICW. And then offshore, catch beeliners and triggerfish in 100 to 130 feet of water over live natural bottom and use squid for bait.
Call waiting. You know what that means? Mama's got the cheese grits on.
Something.
That's what that means. All right. Next, we move over to the Florida Panhandle with Captain Pat Deneen. Captain Pat, tell us where we can find the best permit of the Panhandle.
Lauren, we don't have. Well, there are permits. There's a few permits caught up here, but not enough to really talk about. What we do have is redfish. It sounds like me and Russell are on the same page. And the redfish bite's been really good, especially at the Destin Bridge on the outgoing tide. Using live baits, and the bait of choice is going to be a 3 to 4 inch, maybe a 4 to 6 inch croaker. Secondarily, use a big spot minnow or even a 5-inch finger mullet. It's best tide outgoing. Fish your bait right on the bottom with a Carolina rig. Anchor the boat up current of the bridge and soak your baits up towards the pilings, and hook your baits through the nose on a 2-aught circle. There's been a lot of outgoing strong current, so hook your bait right there in the nose. It'll keep them from spinning too bad. The bridge fish are running 25 to 30 plus inches. There's some, really nice big ones, 25, 30 pounders being caught as well. But if you want to lure fish for them, that's what we've been doing a lot the last couple of days. We've had really good luck working the residential docks, especially down towards Sandestin. The water is very stained from all the rain we've had, so a nice flashy spinner bait, soft plastic combination, a spoon or a Meridian is working really well in that off-colored water. The flats fish are running anywhere from 20 to 25 inches, so nice keeper fish. And we've been getting a few flounders and trout while we're doing it as well. That's what we did this afternoon. Also inshore, the south side of Pensacola Bay, the Spanish mackerel have been biting very well. In fact, they were biting really good today right here at the Destin Bridge on that outgoing side. I just got off the water. The open water bite, look for them under the birds and look for them slashing baits on the surface, these little small fry minnows. They're also along the flats edges on the deeper flats. And Captain Brad King, he says that he's been targeting those bigger fish on those flat edges. There's solitary loner fish using a slash bait like a Meridian or a swim bait. All the schooling fish are similar sizes. So if you're on a school of fish and you're getting the smaller ones, move around till you find a school for the bigger ones. Meridines, sub wraps, and spoons are good. 18 to 24 inches longer is the size of the fish.
All right, let's go offshore, Pat.
Rick, the amberjack bite, I was talking with Captain Terry McGowan over in Panama City, and the deeper wrecks south and east of Panama City in 110 to 250 feet of water are doing real well. Like the Empire Mica wreck, the bridge spans, some of those larger ledges in the deeper water. The best bait is going to be a live hardtail or a large pinfish, but even a mid-sized ladyfish works really well, or even a large ladyfish if you're on the bigger amberjack. Slip sinker rig with a long leader and a circle hook. But you can also use like a Williamson turbo jig. Just drop that jig down below where the fish are marking and then work it real rapidly back to the surface. The offshore AJs are running 15 to 30 pounds, whereas the nearshore ones generally the shallower the water, the smaller the fish. They're running anywhere from 25 to 29 inches. And then finally offshore, the bottom fishing bite's been kind of tough lately. When the water's really off-colored, I don't know if that has something to do with the bite or not, but the guys bottom fishing have been catching mingo snappers or vermilion snappers and white snappers, or also called pokies. They're using a chicken rig baited with cut squid or cut bait, fishing in 110 to 190 feet of water, mostly on natural bottom, but also some of those bigger wrecks are holding the fish as well.
All right, Pat, I got a question for you. You know,
Yes, sir.
the south part of your region, Port St. Joe, have you heard any really good reports about red fishing? We're coming there for a tournament in October, so I need you to kind of get dialed in for me. So
I'm actually going down there this weekend, Rick, so I'll hopefully have a first-hand report when I get back. I did speak with Captain Sean Chalker over in Apalachicola, and he's telling me that their bay is so full of fresh water that it's got the bite a little slow. But you know how Cape San Blas and Port St. Joe is. It's a little bit more insulated from freshwater inflow, so I will have the news for you next week.
all right, I tell you what I want you to do while you're there. I want you to go to the Indian Pass Raw Bar, ask for Tony, and tell her that I sent you, and she'll take good care of you.
Now, what about Gator? You want me to see him too?
Well, you can see Gator if you wish, but you're going to get a better deal from Tony.
Oh, I'm looking for Tony.
All right. Thanks, Pat. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the blue water outriggers hotspots from the Panhandle region. Captain Pat says inshore, Destin Bridge for redfish, live croakers is the key. Fish them on the bottom with a Carolina rig, and then offshore, south and west of the spur, find the water and color edge, troll ballyhoo for the dolphin, wahoos, and occasional billfish, Lauren.
Alrighty, when we come back, we're going to check in with Jeffrey Page in the Central West, and Harry has some new products to introduce us to from right over there at the Jägermeister Workbench. Stay where you are.
Stuff here.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by CCA, the voice of recreational anglers for over 25 years. The Florida Keys and Key West. Come as you are. Hookup Lures, premium lures for serious anglers. La Jolla Resort, a place for family and fishermen. And Maverick Boat Company, makers of premium brand boats. Maverick, Hughes, Pathfinder, and Cobia.
Hi, I'm Ariana.
I'm Natalie of the Miami Dolphins cheerleaders for Bennett Auto Supply.
When it comes to spark plugs, look to NGK, the world leader in spark plug technology. NGK makes spark plugs for virtually every automobile, motorcycle, marine, and small engine application.
With NGK spark plugs, you get improved performance and increased fuel economy. So just ask your local technician for NGK spark plugs, the leader in spark plug technology, available at Bennett Auto Supply.
Best parts,
best prices, Bennett Auto Supply.
He's a 20 years straight, get to work on time. He's loved one woman for all his life. Everybody knows he ain't just tough, he's strong.
The all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead.
About new products, certainly at Captain Harry's they sell them, as well as we promote them over here at the Jägermeister Workbench.
Yes,
so
sir.
what do we got this
well,
week?
What we've got, you know, obviously snook season's opening up here, and the first here coming up. Pinfish trap. A lot of people obviously use pinfish.
Right.
A lot of people don't know how to use a pinfish trap. So there's kind of a couple of tricks that I've learned down the line. Obviously, there's always a door that opens up.
Right.
What you want to do is mount your bait inside the middle here. You want to tie it down. Now, what you see, as you see on this particular cage, there's all different styles. This one has 3 entries on there,
right,
and not on this side. What you want to do, if there's current, is you want to be able to have the current coming through whichever direction, so those pinfish will smell it and come. If you have this trap, let's just say it's like this direction here, and their current's coming through here, these pinfish will come up and they'll sit back here. waiting for the chum and stuff, and they'll sit here. They won't come around and come in through the doors. So you're going to want to make sure it's turned this particular way so the chum goes out either side, and those pinfish will swim right in there and get stuck. And then obviously you've got the trap door to take them in and out. And it's just they make them bigger, smaller, all kinds of different styles of pinfish cages, and it's just a simple deal to throw at the dock at the house and catch. You come home from work and you've got bait ready to go to catch a couple snook. Ready bait. Tarpon, snook, for whatever.
I like having ready bait.
Now this is pretty cool. This is kind of going to be hard to see here. This is the new Polar Eyes. This is for your cell phone, for your iPhones or whatever. And you know how you're out on the boat? I mean, we've all done it. You take your sunglasses and you put it over your front of your cell phone to see the fish, to cut the glare.
Right.
Well, this is a new product that this young lady came up with, and this is just going to go right on front of your camera lens. And what a lot of people do is they'll film sideways. So you want to make sure, like your sunglasses, a certain direction. You want to be able to have that where the polarization works. So it's really cool. So it goes right over, you're in the color, right over the eye of the camera. So it's a really cool deal. And it shows you on there.
You're polarizing your lens of your camera.
And you don't have to put your camera in front of your sunglasses. I mean, I've done that I don't know how many times, just fishing and take my sunglasses and put it in front of my cell phone to videotape. So that's a really cool deal. There's different sizes, extra small and then standard size for different cameras.
Extra small, that's the Irish model.
Okay, whatever. This Rick this has been around for a little bit, but a lot of people don't get a chance to see this. This to me is really, really cool. This, what you're going to do is open up your cooler.
Right.
And you're going to take that, your Yeti, and you're going to just lay that inside there. Shut your cooler back up. That drops in there. Now you have a rod holder.
Nice.
Built in. So say you're fishing on your flats boat, your contender boat off the back of the boat, and you have a little kid or someone who's a handicapped person or somebody that can't stand up and fish. This is already built in, and it's just something you can store away, and it's just great. I've had my kids growing up, they're not strong enough to stand up and fight a fish. For after a while, there you go, and you've got it made, and it works out fantastic.
All right, what do we got here?
All right, this stuff here, obviously, the mangrove snappers are jumping in the boat. This is just something. It's a new dry chum, and it's a two-part mixture. There's 2 bags in here. There's a milk bag, which has all your different kinds of good honey stuff to mix in with your chum. And what you're going to do is mix the 2 together, and you're going to mix it all up, and it comes with a bag inside there. So you can put this out. You're going to be out there for 90 minutes of fresh chum. And you know how traveling all over the place, you can't bring a block of chum with you that's frozen and it thaws out if you go to the Bahamas. This is something that you can take with you, and it's just great chum, especially for yellowtailing.
So let me ask you, would this be something potentially you buy at Captain Harry's and you load it in your pinfish trap, or what do you use in your pinfish trap for bait?
Pinfish trap, a lot of guys will use cat food. They'll poke holes in it and tie it down. They'll use a carcass, dolphin carcass, any kind of bonita carcass, anything that's going to be in there, but you want to tie it down. If you don't tie it down, it'll float over to the corner, and the pinfish and other fish, whatever, is going to sit there on the outside and pick it, not get in the cage. So you're going to always want to be able to pin those down. So that's something that's very important. And chum is huge, especially in South Florida.
Now back to this. What other flavors do they have this in?
This is the only flavor that we have right now, which is they call it the snapper chum. And it's brand new, and it's working out really well. It's good stuff.
Well, good job, Harry. I appreciate all you do every week when you do fill in for Dave.
Yep.
And I appreciate that very much. Captain Harry's is a great supporter of Southeast region. Guys, you need to go see him and make sure you ask for the Captain Rick Murphy discount. But speaking of a discount, Yamaha has an outboard Wake Up the Summer sale, Harry. So what you could potentially do is go to any participating dealer. It's 5 years of warranty protection program that you can potentially get, or you could get $2,000 in the dealer credit on a different models that they have. Now, for any of you guys, this only lasts till the end of this month, August 30th. So you got to take advantage of this right away.
That's a great
For
deal.
more information, just go to YamahaOutboard.com. And I need more information about what we're doing permit fishing throughout the state, Lauren, so give it to me.
Rick, Harry, we're going to head next to the Central West with Captain Jeff Page. Jeffrey, it sounds like now's the time for permit bite to be on in your region. Is that so?
Yeah, it is, Lauren.
In our region, the permit might start as early as late March, early April, and stays strong throughout September, October, usually up until we start getting some cold fronts. The best scenario in my region is to get out early and have that light east wind blowing to where that out there in the Gulf is pretty calm, pretty flat conditions. Get out early, and then you'll have that nice slick, calm condition, and it'll cause those permits to actually float up on top, backs and fins out of the water. As you approach your coordinates of your wrecks and your reefs, and they can be in as close as 2-3 miles. They can be on out to 20-30 miles. The key is they seem to stay on the same wrecks and reef year after year that you found them on last year and the year before. They're going to be back there on that wreck and reef the next year. So get out there early. If it's calm, pay attention to the top. If not, anchor up and try and stay off the wreck or reef as far as you can to where you can cast, some bottom lines down that'll get down, to the structure, and then maybe have a couple flat lines out with a crab, even a big jumbo-sized live shrimp, but nothing beats a crab. I know other guys have talked about it tonight. Ordered a $half-dollar-sized crab. Earlier in the summer, they're easy to catch, and they're easy to purchase. This time of year, it takes a little bit of effort. I suggest going out in the afternoon on that outgoing tide with a dip net or just walking the grass flats looking for your smaller blue crabs, past crabs. It's going to save a lot of frustration when you're casting other stuff at the permits and they won't eat. They're pretty much guaranteed they're going to eat the crab. We also catch them in the wintertime in our region up in the intercoastal waterway with small little hook-up bucktail jigs along the edges of the ICW and in the passes. But they're your smaller fish. Our fish that are out on the wrecks and reefs average 12 to 20 pounds. The inshore fish, 2 to 8 pounds.
All right, let's stay offshore. What do you got, Bub?
What we have is the guys at Double Nickel Charters out of Marina Jack, Nick and Will, have been getting way out. This is some offshore stuff, some of that pelagic stuff out there in 600 feet of water on out, which is 100 miles, 110 miles on out. And what they've been doing, Rick, they've been getting out there and sword fishing at night, and then as the daylight approaches, they've been catching marlins, white and blue. And what they've been doing, the key has been getting out at least 110 miles and then marking that bait. There'll be a lot of bait on the surface, but also marking that bait down in that 100, 200, 300 feet range. It can be a lot of different things, but marking good bait. And then they're trolling black parts for the marlin or rig ballyhoo, as well as squid rigs for the swords at night. And then finally, chunks of squid or bonita strips for your deeper groupers, which are holding on springs that are 200 feet up from the bottom. Now, all this is going on out there in that region. And, I suggest that you watch your weather, watch your temp breaks, and also make sure you have your boat well-equipped, well-fueled up to go out and do this. We've got a couple really nice photos from Double Nickel. One of a blue marlin that they caught in the evening, big blue marlin, and then the second photo of a snowy grouper that they caught 200-300 feet down out there in that same region.
Good photos, Jeffrey. All right, let's go inshore, bud.
Inshore, redfish. Schools of redfish throughout my region, throughout the Starbright Central West region. Look for the reds humped up early if the winds are light. As you're running along the flats, running along the bars, pay attention. If you see them, have stuff ready to cast. Don't be trying to rig rods once you see the fish. Have your gold spoons, have your swim baits ready. Good one is the saltwater assassin sea shad in the space guppy pattern, which is chartreuse gold flake pattern on a 1/4 ounce cup jig head. Have all that stuff ready to cast. As you approach the fish, drop your trolling motor, ease up on them, throw into the schools. Some of the areas to look for them is down south, I mentioned last week, Bull Bay, Turtle Bay bars. Up to the north, the Bulkhead Bar at the mouth of Manatee River, Long Bar in Sarasota Bay, and on the west side of Lemon Bay. There's lots of school redfish, and they're just going to stay strong right throughout September. Species 2, flounder. Nice flounder holding on the edges of the inshore artificial reefs and also the bridges. The key, Rick, is getting your your boat anchored up properly, and getting your baits down to the bottom on the sand edges and not up on the rocks and the pilings of the bridges. If you can get down there on that sand edges, the best bait has been live tiltards or smaller live pinfish. You can put them on like 3/8 hook-up jig heads, or you can put them on a circle hook with a good split shot or chicken rig style weight. And these flounders are averaging 2 to 4 pounds. Real quick, I just need to mention September 12th through the 15th, the Sarasota Saltwater Shootout at Marina Jacks. They're going to have a $100,000 prize billfish division and $10,000 grouper, $10,000 redfish trout. For more information, contact the folks at Marina Jacks, or you can call me.
All right, great job, Jeffrey. We're going to go ahead and get to the Startron hotspots from the Central West region. Inshore mangrove snapper, lots of keeper-sized mang, 12 to 16 inches, holding on the rocks and grass flats around the Big Pass, as well as the Venice Jetty and Stump Pass. Free-line pilchards or shrimp are your best bet. And then offshore, gag groupers. The bite remains consistent in 120 to 140 feet of water over the ledges and hard bottom. Live pins or grunts are going to be your best bet for those.
Okay,
thanks. I'm going to be at Economy Bait and Tackle on next Thursday.
All right, come out and see Captain Rick.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys stick around. When we return, we're going to hear from the Florida Keys and the Northwest region. There's plenty more to come right here on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Chevy, the Florida Lottery, Best Parts, Best Prices, Bennett Auto Supply, Contender Boats, Performance through Innovation, Navionics, We Start Where the Roads End, and Guy Harvey, artist, explorer, marine scientist, conservationist, and diver.
You, sir, own a new Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting, full-size pickup on the road. And the best pickup coverage in America.
I never get tired of hearing that.
Nice call on the Victory Red.
Victory is mine.
Mm-hmm.
The Chevy Model Year End Event. The 13s are going fast. Time to get yours. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 60 months, or current Chevy truck owners can trade up to this Chevy Silverado All-Star Edition with $1,500 option package discount for a total value of $9,000.
Continuing the revolution. Faster, drier, even better built. Designed around Yamaha's latest technology outboards. Still built by the same craftsmen and anglers who launched the Bay Boat Revolution. Whether chasing world records, or time on the water with the family, or anything in between, there's a new Pathfinder model for you. Pathfinder, #1 for a reason, still.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
It's 200 streamlined horsepower of Yamaha forward thinking. The all-new F200 inline 4-stroke. Whether you're an offshore angler, pontoon cruiser, bay boater, or walleye hunter, the responsive and fuel-efficient F200 combines amazing power and versatility in one incredibly compact and lightweight package. The all-new F200. Legendary Yamaha reliability and the freedom of forward thinking.
Make sure you check out our website at the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report.com, where you can get daily reports from our 9 captains. Also, if you'd like to be featured on our show, upload your best photos to our Facebook page. And if you'd like to be part of our studio audience, you can register there as well. Okay, Rick. Captain Randy Tao is holding post in the La Jolla, Florida Keys. Randy, from the upper Keys to the lower, you've got some permit to talk about.
Sure do. Hey, fish fans, good evening. I'll tell you what, permit in my region throughout the Keys, from Key Largo to Key West, there's no shortage of them, and there's all kinds of ways to go about it. If you're a flats guy and you like getting up on the shallow water or fishing out of a skiff, on the incoming tides have been pretty good, especially around these moons. Last week we had a full moon, which brought some real strong and some high tides, and there were plenty of permit around. Most of these permit you're going to find on the oceanside flats, especially down toward the lower Keys. Some of the best permit fishing we have is throughout the lower Keys, both oceanside and backcountry. You're going to want to have a small blue crab ready on your spinning rod, or if you're a fly fisherman, certainly a crab imitation fly to throw at these fish. When you see them tailing or mudding, they'll get on some of these grass bottoms and they'll dig down, digging the crabs out, and you want to throw right on top of them. And we've also got the Gulf wrecks. Our backcountry Gulf side is home to thousands of permit this time of year, and a lot of these fish will be on top of the wreck or surrounding the wreck as you pull up to them on a nice day. If you get out in the Gulf and you keep your eyes open and you're ready, you're going to find a big school of permit waiting for you when you get there. So certainly be ready. Have your rods ready when you pull up on the flats, because they will be there. And there's no shortage of permit around right now. This is the prime time from now till about October.
All right, you got a photo there, Randy?
I've got a photo of Linda Dinkert with an Islamorada permit she caught just a few days ago, and that was on a spinning rod with a small blue crab.
All right, let's stay inshore. What you got, bub?
Bonefish. You know, this time of year, it's kind of a bonefish season for us, if you will. We get out of tarpon season, we go into the summer, getting into the fall. Bonefishing around the Keys is pretty good. It's actually a little better to the north around Ocean Reef, and it's also very good down in the lower Keys, like Sugarloaf and some of the Big Pine and some of that area down there. Now, a lot of the bone fishing you're going to want to do on the rising tide. Rising from the Atlantic is one tide. Down in the lower Keys, that tide is coming from the Gulf, so it's a little different condition. So you want to read your tide chart. You want to understand which is the incoming tide down that way. And then also when the tide gets up, you want to look for these fish mudding in the deeper water. 2 to 3, even 4 feet of water, you'll find these bonefish mudding, and you're going to look for a light discolor in the water, and that's usually going to be where these fish are swimming around. I've got a picture of Captain Jared Roscobb with one of the bonefish he's been catching in the last few days around Islamorada.
All right, let's stay offshore. Where are we headed now?
Dolphin. We got to talk about dolphin. It's still going on strong, anywhere from 400 to 600 feet of water. There's been a lot of scattered weed, and around these weeds, sometimes it's a little difficult to fish. If you put your troll baits out or your lures, you get tangled up with weeds and you can't troll. You're constantly taking it off. So sometimes you'll want to find a patch of weeds or find an area that's got some dolphin and just drift. Put out a couple of rods or fish a rod down deep, and sometimes these dolphin will actually find you. They'll swim up to the boat and find you. There's been some nice gaffers. There's been some big ones. I talked to several guys that had some 30-pounders swim up to the boat while they were drifting catching schoolies.
Whoa. All right, what else you got for us offshore?
Triple tail. You know, we talk about triple tail quite a bit in the backcountry and in the Gulf, but we also have a lot of triple tail offshore in the Atlantic on a lot of floating debris and also on some of the weed lines this time of year. And these triple tails will be floating underneath whatever it may be, a board, a bucket, a chair. And a lot of times you can pull up to these triple tail on structure like that and drop a piece of shrimp or a small cut bait or a small 1/8 ounce jig right on their head. And a lot of times you can get them to bite. Have a light spinning rod ready and have that small hook and a small piece of bait when you see those triple tails, and you're going to have some great eating right there.
All right, good report from the La Jolla, Florida Keys region. Randy, I'm going to go ahead and get to the hot spots. Captain Randy says, inshore, bonefish. Look for the rising tide on the oceanside flats and throw small blue crabs. Use small pinch weights if the water is more than 2 feet deep to get those crabs down. And then offshore. Offshore, we're going to look at let's see what Captain Randy said. Dolphin, find the scattered weeds from 400 to 600 feet. Start your drift with rods out as you look under the weeds for dolphin. Sometimes they'll find you. I like it when I get found.
That's handy.
Yeah.
Just come on over, guys. All right, Rick, now we're going to tell everyone what tournaments are going on around the Keys. First up, named for the man known as Mr. Everglades, is the Herman Lucerne Memorial Tournament set for September 21st and 22nd in Islamorada. This catch and release tournament focuses on snook, snapper, redfish, trout, bonefish, tarpon, and black drum. Next, the Women's Fall Fly Classic set for October 1st to the 3rd in Islamorada. It's an all-release fly tournament. Species targeted are bonefish, redfish, snook, and tarpon. Also, the Robert James Sales Bay Bone Celebrity Tournament scheduled for October 11th to the 13th in Key Largo. It's the second of 3 Keys tournaments that fundraises for cystic fibrosis research and treatment. The Bay Bone targets permit and bonefish. And finally, the Isla Mirada All-Tackle Bonefish and Permit Championship, set for October 13th through the 16th, features prizes for the most releases in bait, artificial, and fly divisions, as well as for the largest bonefish and permit. Good stuff there.
Really good.
All right now, Andy Newman has some more to tell you about from the Florida Keys. What do you got for us, Andy?
Hey, Lauren. Key Largo's Take Stock in Children Backcountry Challenge targets trout, redfish, and snook. Now, this tournament is scheduled for Friday, September 27th through Sunday, September 29th. The unique aspect of Take Stock is that you can begin your fishing immediately after the captain's meeting concludes and continue through 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Now, proceeds from the Take Stock in Children tournament benefit a scholarship program. It's a statewide initiative that awards college scholarships to economically disadvantaged students. It also serves as a fundraiser, by the way, for the Key Largo Rotary Club's local scholarship program. More details on this tournament and other angling contests and events in the Keys are on the Florida Keys website, rickettsflakeys.com.
Andy, I got a question for you before you go. You know, a few weeks back you did a segment on a turtle, and I really enjoyed that. Can we get some more of that before the year's over?
Sure. In fact, maybe next week we're going to talk about sex on the reef. And I'll just let you sort of ponder that, and we'll tell you more about it next week.
All right, looking forward to it. Thanks, Andy.
Like I said, I'm always a fan of going to visit our friend who's now at the Mirage or wherever he is, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
That's totally fine. Guys, in the Yeti Northwest region is where we find Captain Jeff Hageman. Jeff, tonight's your turn for a favorite. What do you want to share with us on permit?
It is one of my favorites. I tell you what, when they get up on top of the water and they start finning and mooning, it's kind of like hunting and any kind of sight casting I really love doing. I love tarpon fishing, love permit fishing, but we've got some really good permit fishing in our region. Our big fish usually show up about the beginning of April, our 30 to 45-pound fish, and they're usually in schools of anywhere from 2 to about 10. There's not usually a huge number of them when they first get here. Then a few weeks later, we'll get our fish that are usually the 15 to 20-pound fish, and that's when our schools really show up, and we get a big concentration of fish. They'll be anywhere from 50 to 200 permit, and most of our fish are caught offshore on reefs and wrecks. Not too far out, even 3 miles off the beach, we'll start finding fish. Right now, they're a little deeper. They're in that 70 feet of water right now, and they're hugging tight to the bottom. They're not really showing really good on top with all the wind we've been having, so they've been down low. Big thing with permit, everybody's been talking about it, is crabs. If you can get past crabs, last moon, they're flushing really good up here. So the next moon, they should be flushing again really good. Dip yourself up some crabs on that outgoing tide first thing in the morning or late in the afternoon and take them offshore with you. You want to use a 2-aught to 4-aught size hook. If you can't get crabs, best next bait is shrimp. Cut the tail off. Chartreuse hookup jig is the way to go with that, anywhere from 1/8 ounce to 1/4 ounce. Pitch that up tide, let it drift back to the wreck. And a really good tip about permit fishing, a lot of people I talk to get out there, and our wrecks have a lot of structure on them that can cut you off. If you lighten your drag up when you're permit fishing, a permit will make one long steering run on his first initial take. So if you loosen your drag up and let him run away from the wreck, and then tighten your drag up once he gets, say, 75, 100 yards away from the wreck, you can get him more tired when he gets back to the boat and you get close to your wreck and be able to keep him away from getting cut off. Or another thing you can do is throw a throw buoy and go chase him, just drift off the wreck. Don't start your motor, drift off the wreck, follow him out, get on your trolling motor and follow him away, and that'll keep you from getting cut off a bunch.
All right, what else you got for us, Bub, offshore?
I got AJ fishing. It's still been really good in the lower part of my region right now. Most of them are on reef and rock piles, but the springs right now are holding a large concentration of fish. The water's warmed up. That 72-degree water that's pumping out of some of our deeper springs offshore are holding a lot of fish right now. They're usually at 130 to 150 feet of water. Blue runners, sardines, anything fast. Right now they want to chase the bait. If it's not moving fast, they're going to lose interest in it real quick. Lighten up your leaders. You don't really have any teeth, so they can't really cut you off on anything. So lighten up your leaders. They've been a little picky, but a faster moving bait or a faster moving artificial has been the key to getting hooked up on them. Redfish right now inshore throughout our region has still been really good and getting better and better as as the season comes along. Right now you want to target deeper potholes, sandbars, oyster bars, and the grass flats are holding a lot of fish. Cut bait has still been the ticket. I did catch some today on live bait. They wanted to chase it a little bit better, but I caught most of my fish today on cut bait. Another great thing to use, mossback subwalk when they start chasing those baits down. That's a great bait for a searching bait in getting in front of schools. Or a Bass Assassin new penny jerk shad on a 6.0 mustad weedless hook has been working really good. Most of our fish right now have been averaging anywhere from 24 to 34 inches in our region. And also offshore, inshore, we've got Captain Mario Costello, Tall Tales Fish Charters out of Christopher River, reports that the scalloping has still been really good, despite all the boats that are still out there right now. He's been moving a little closer inland right now to get away from the boat traffic. Most of the time, with these lower tides we've been having right now, you can actually walk along, no mask and snorkel needed, and pick these up off the grass flats right now in anywhere from 2 to 3 feet of water. He's actually been dipping them up and following his customers around on scallop charters with a dip net off the bow of his boat and just following them around on the trolling motor. But right now with the lower tides, and he's been finding them in thinner grass right now, it's really easy to do. It makes it a lot easier when they're up there shallower, and anybody can get out there and do it. You don't have to dive down deep, and you can just go along and pick them up.
All right, great report. Real long-winded this week. I'm impressed. I'm glad to see he's actually getting into it. Let's see, the Drummond Community Bank hotspots inshore. Redfish bite throughout the region still remain strong off the top of the tide. Use cut bait. And then offshore, mangrove snappers on the high relief structure in 10 to 50 feet of water. Use tail hook shrimp or a hookup jig head to catch those snappers.
Alrighty, when we come back, guys, we have the Coastal Conservation Minute and the Midnight Rider from the Southwest. Stay where you are.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Rapala. Catch the latest at Rapala.com. Reactor, the best built performance sports watch, period. StarTron, cures and prevents ethanol fuel problems. Strike Zone Fishing. Suffix, the world's most hardcore fishing line. And Yamaha, reliability starts here.
At highway speeds, things can get pretty windy. That's why the Chevrolet Cruze Eco has active aero grille shutters that close at higher speeds to improve aerodynamics. With an EPA estimated 42 miles per gallon highway, the Chevrolet Cruze Eco offers the best highway fuel economy of any gas engine in America. Always thinking of ways to give you more while using less. That's American ingenuity to find new roads.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
You already know about the La Jolla Resort in Isla Mirada, so let's talk about the La Jolla experience. With an on-site boat ramp, the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic is just minutes away. And when you return from fishing, there's barbecue pits to cook your catch while your family enjoys the pool or one of our new remodeled rooms. This historic resort, the La Jolla, is family-owned and operated and has a friendly staff ready to make your La Jolla experience a really great one.
You know there's more to it than luck. There's fishing the right bait, the water temperature, the wind, the season, and then there's the boat. We'll put it simply, the boat matters. To own a Contender is to own the best sport fishing boat on the market, period. Contender offers the most comprehensive model range with bigger, faster, and more fuel-efficient boats than the competition. There's only one choice for serious anglers. Contender Boats. Performance through innovation.
Today's Costa Conservation Minute is about buying a fishing license. Now guys, whether you're inshore, offshore, near shore, on the shore, saltwater, freshwater, you gotta have a fishing license. So what that means is the FWC has put together a couple great options for you. Now in our house, what we've done is for Ridge and Colin, we bought a lifetime license before they were 13 because it's a lot cheaper. But as you can tell, my partner and cameraman, Mike Zimmer, he actually has gone out and bought a 5-year license. And what that basically means, guys, is now you don't have to worry about doing it on a weekly or an annual basis. It's good for 5 years. Now know that if you're a lobsterman or you want to catch snook, that you gotta go ahead and add the snook stamps and the lobster stamps or any other special permits to the license, but you can do that while buying the license. Now the other thing that comes to mind is if you have questions, you can go to myfwc.com and they can certainly answer them. The lifetime license can't be purchased there, but understand that almost all the other opportunities can. Well, that's today's Costa Conservation Minute. It's about getting a new license. As you said earlier in the show, we have license-free fishing this weekend, as well as snook fishing opens up on September 1st. And then we have tarpon and bonefish catch and release only beginning in September 1st. A lot of stuff changing, guys. Go to that website and make sure you're up to speed on the rules and regulations.
That's right. Just make it easy on yourself. Make sure you're licensed.
That's
it. Okay, now off we go to check in with Captain Ron Houston in the Southwest. Ronnie, finish out our permit report for us.
Well, like always, guys, it's a pleasure being here. But you know what? For the permit in my region, 99% of the time, you'll be fishing for these fish offshore, and you want to concentrate on structure. Generally wrecks and sometimes rock piles. Depending upon what number wreck or what part of the rock pile, you want to concentrate exactly on the number or always concentrate in and around the number at a 360 degree up to about a quarter mile off the structure. Guys, we know this structure's been there marked for years, but it's been broken up through the storms and strong currents, so always try to get around to about a quarter mile off the original number in about a 360 degree. You want to also concentrate on drifting and looking for these fish on the bottom. Not a lot of times you'll pull up in these areas and see these fish right on top, so it's actually a little bit of work. It's not as easy as some guys think. Generally after winter, when the water starts to warm up, is probably the best time to start catching these permits up until late September, maybe into October, as soon as the water temperatures start to cool. Once you locate these fish on most of the structure, first thing you need to watch out for is the predators or getting these fish back into the structure. Sometimes an anchor ball should be used to let the fish run away from the structure with a medium drag. Baits of choice, the number one can generally be the live crab. If you can't get crabs, depending upon the structure below, live shrimp will work, 30 to 60-pound fluorocarbon, and you can use the crabs and the live shrimp on anywhere from a 2-0 to 6-0 circle hook. If you can't get any live baits, troll rights in bright colors or simply a bucktail tipwood shrimp. Typical size of the fish all in the region, 15 to 30 pounds, with some permit up to 35 pounds.
All right, Ronnie, before we go any further, I want to take a look at the navionics from your region. Now, you also hear Captain Ron every week when he talks about running offshore, we're talking about that southwest coast. All right, now the one thing that comes to mind is this area right here, guys. Now, we're going to take a look at the other map that Captain Ron sent in. Understand that what he was talking about is structure. Here's a great example through this navionic sonar sounding that we have a big sandbar, 30 feet on the top of the bar. As the bar falls off, looking at these lines here, what I see happen here is that you're going to anchor on top of the bar and let your crabs fall back off of the bar into the 40-foot water. That's what's going to allow you to have better permit fishing. Get on top as they feel that current coming. What they'll end up doing is they're going to climb up on the shallower part of the bar, which is the structure that he also refers to. It's not just wrecks, it can also be reefs. All right, Ronnie, what else you got happening in your region?
Well, you know, the gag grouper bite has still been great right now, and it's been a little bit better to the north from Fort Myers Beach to Boca Grande, concentrating on 50 to 60 miles out. Now you want to concentrate on wrecks and ledges, but I promise you with the reports I've gotten in the last 3 days, ledges have been better, and I know it's a distance, but catching keeper-sized fish in that distance is generally pretty easy. It'll be more productive, especially you can get these fish quicker and not have to worry about running through a bunch of shorts to get them in the box. Generally, when a fish hits, you can get him up. He's definitely going into the box. Baits include live pinfish and grunt. Cut baits will work, but live bait is the way to go for the gags. Now, on the inshore side, opening a snook season finally on the southwest coast of Florida. I'm going to give you some good tips. There's plenty of opportunity for everybody, but there's a few different patterns. All throughout the region, you want to concentrate your efforts on beaches on the higher stages of the tide, especially if the weather's moderate, not coming out of the west, blowing up against the beach. You want to concentrate also on the last half of the outgoing to the first half of the incoming. Passes can be your best bet, especially if there's good current flow. Don't forget, we have had a lot of rain, probably the most rain we've had in the last 8 years on the southwest coast. With all the rain we're having, concentrate on culverts and spillways. A lot of people are driving by them right now. Then you got the nighttime dock fishing, seawalls and large boats with current. Baits of choice can be live pinfish, filtered shrimp, also a variety of bass assassin soft plastic paddle tails, and shrimp imitations in white, glow, root beer, chartreuse, and what's been working good is chandelier owl in color. Or a variety of 3 to 4 inch slip plugs and top waters in white, chartreuse, red and white, black and silver. Plenty of opportunities throughout the region. Make sure you know your limits for the future. Make sure you have the proper license in, because I guarantee you, with the opening of snook season, FWC catches you, he won't be slapping you on the wrist.
Hurry up for the trout. Hurry.
A little further to the south, trout fishing has still been good from Pavilion Key to Seminole Key along the grass flat edges and troughs at low water. Even though the water's tannic, you can still see the grass and the potholes. Early morning with the bass assassin chicken on a chain under a cork or a jig head. Also walk the dog lures and chuggers and bright colors have been working. No need for shrimp. Artificials has been working the best.
All right, thanks, Ronnie. We got to get to the hot spots for the southwest region. Captain Ron says inshore, redfish, hickory bay to rock bay, mid-morning fall on the oyster bars and independent islands, and then offshore, Wiggins Pass to Redfish Pass, fishing artificial reefs, catching pogies, lane snappers, grunts, mangroves, and red groupers, Lauren.
Way to squeeze it all in tonight. Great information. On the other side of the break, we'll have for you what's coming up next week. We'll be right back.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
He's a 20 years straight, get to work on time. He's loved one woman for all his life. Everybody knows he ain't just tough, he's strong.
The all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead.
Hi. I lost a big fish earlier today. Wasn't using suffix. It was about this big.
Look, slow down there, cowboy, okay? A fish in the lobster van, huh? You want your fish. Sorry, honey, that fish is gone.
Always use the best line, Suffix 832.
Introducing Helmmaster, Yamaha's first fully integrated digital boat control system. With Helmmaster, you can start your outboards with a swipe of a paw and control them with a single lever. Outboard trim and steering friction adjust automatically as you accelerate and decelerate. Adjust engine speed with the touch of a button. The Helmmaster joystick provides the means to navigate and dock precisely with confidence and ease. Take control of your next vessel with Helmmaster at your command.
If you like fishing or the history of fishing, then I have a must-see place for you.
the IGFA Fishing Hall of Fame and Museum in Dania Beach. What makes the IGFA so cool is that they have theaters where you can learn about the journey of fishing, galleries where the kids can see antique reels or catch a big one. The Hall of Fame room has over 140 beautiful fish mounts, and maybe in the E.K. Harry Library, you may see a live alligator. For more family fun, go to igfa.org.
Next week, September 5th, we're going to be talking bonefish. Make sure you catch us in our repeats on Friday and Saturday, and visit Sun Sports and your local listings for more details.
Lauren, Harry, good job tonight. Hey, we got Cutler Bay Academy, the Coast Fishing Club, for coming out. Is that right? Did I say that right? You gonna leave me hanging or what? Come on. Hey, thank you guys so much for coming. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate everything that you, Harry, do for us every week. And Lauren, more importantly, great job tonight. You know what? Hey, thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, see you next week.
Thanks for watching.